everyone. Let me
Oh, she hit
know
the
if
button.
you could
Finally. Finally hit the button.
finally hit the button. Finally hit the button. All right. Hello, everyone. Please let us know if you can see us and hear us. I
Hello,
did hit
beauties.
so the button. I was talking to myself and having Chris talk to a version of all of you that did not exist for the past like 4 to 5 minutes. We were kind of like, in a box. But
Mm.
we're here now and we're happy to be here with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about the truth, the rework, and the video and the tour and questions that you all have. So we've got a lot of people in the chat. We're doing this public today. So we
Mm-hmm.
have hellos from our friends Ren, from Janet, aka Tarot with Mercy. We have Sue here, our friend Jasmine that we were just talking to. And
Jasmine.
yeah, Theo's here. We're getting lots of heart emojis and cat emojis. And so, Chris, what did you want to talk about today?
What? What kind of question is that?
Well, what kind of question?
I thought we were going to talk about those things you just
We are
said.
going to talk about the things that I just said. Do you have anything you want to open with, or should we just jump right into people's questions?
I don't mind. Um, Obviously, I'm here to discuss the video mainly. I think that was feel propelled to
Mhm.
explain a few things. Not that I'm fully comfortable with having to explain myself, but I will. Um, and yeah, let's talk about that because it's a super interesting topic that has been triggered in people.
Yeah. Well, I'll start just with some of the comments that we got on Patreon, and then we can kind of use that as a jumping off point for wherever you want to go with it.
Mm,
So this is something that I think is kind of a balance from, let's see, so we have from Mirko. So Mirko says, I love the weirdness you've created for this video, and I think it really fit the IMX style. I just think the video lacks some soul and human touch in the parts
mhm.
focused on human faces. And I feel like the video lacks your figure in it because seeing you dressed in a weird way and doing weird things for me is what gives it a soul. So I guess what was kind of your thought process with doing the video, without you in it?
I mean, first of all, it's just I feel super um complimented that I I'm somehow seen as a kind of beacon of authenticity. Um, and that's beautiful. And I thank you all for caring that much. It's quite moving. Um, I I had a lot of fun with this experiment, and I enjoyed myself not being in it. Sometimes, um, having to be the thing that people see all the time is draining. So it's kind of exhausting, and it's also practically really tough for me to do that right now. There's nobody sort of in there's nobody else here. So I doing what I did, like with, for instance, with Neurosymphony, um, which was probably 2 or 3 months of hard labor, I'd call it. Um, I couldn't do that right now because I have to prepare for tour and I have to do life things, and sometimes life things get in the way. So um, to be able to have a little bit of experimental fun with a tool that I understand is triggering, but nevertheless, it was a very enjoyable process, and particularly because there were, I felt like I there were things that I could do that were quite IMX, and to me, the way I perceive IMX is a little bit wider, I think, than how everybody out there sees it. Not necessarily, but I have a very open mind about a lot of things, and if something comes along that is interesting, um, and worth talking about, at least, I feel like it's also my duty as an artist to do something with it. Um, I was listening to a chat with uh, Nick Cave, actually, um, and he thinks AI is an abomination, and but he couldn't quite explain that away. And I agree that we should be pushing back against the sort of rise of of this kind of destruction of what makes things human and interesting. That's going to happen, and maybe I'll never use AI again. But I think it's to get on top of the tool and to be able to wield the tool as opposed to just kind of being frozen by not having anything to work with. So I could let me explain the process. So if I go to the barn, my barn, and the chaos of the last tour is there, it's absolute chaos. There are objects everywhere. There is filth. There are things that just to be able to work, I would have to spend 2 weeks dealing with, and I'm not going to do that. I'd rather go and have some kind of fun with what I would say is a little animation project really. I mean, I see that as a certain amount of animation because the amount of work that I inputted and the manipulation of the images before video and after video and the editing and the conceptualizing is a lot of work. So um, I'm not going to apologize for that, but I'm going to. I think it's interesting to open up the discussion to people and see why they feel so passionately about it. Um, Aside from the plastic kind of pop shit that's out there in the world, of course, that's always crap and and nonsense. But the fact that people got triggered by someone they respect using it, I think, is an interesting thing.
Yeah, I think that one of the things, and Amanda brought up specifically, is that thinking about being triggered by the use of AI can be more of a response to some of the things we hear about it in society with ethical considerations, with like
Hmm.
environmental impacts or concerns about the use of AI and, how it's being used by like larger corporations and places like that. So that's something I think that people were eager to address. So just kind of want to explore that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, and that's totally valid. It could be another. I mean, if you consider what kind of energy your computer is consuming right now, um, yes, maybe it will be more, or will it? Is it not already? Do we not already live in a world where energy consumption is outrageous anyway? I'm not saying that doesn't mean that we should make it worse. I'm not saying that. It's just um, it's I think to kind of yeah. I mean, maybe that's a good consideration. To be honest, I hadn't thought about that. Um,
Yeah,
and that's fair. So
it's
well done.
definitely
Yeah.
something to, yeah, it's something to consider. I think that was part of kind of the response we've seen from people. And I don't want to like come into this conversation and characterize it as like a wholly negative response. Just it's not. There's a lot of people who are really excited about the visuals and found it to be something that was interesting and experimental, and I'm going to go over a few of those comments. I was thinking about what you said about Nick Cave is so interesting because after Nick Cave had all these comments about being AI being an abomination, he ended up using AI in a music video to create like a hologram of Elvis. So it's interesting. People kind of find use cases for it.
This is the thing, it's like when a new technology comes along, it does feel threatening. This is particularly threatening because it's a broad cultural thing. It's not just a musical plugin that I use in my studio. Everybody is aware of it. If you were aware of the things that I've always used from the beginning, the technology that's come along, if you cared, if you knew and you cared, then maybe I wouldn't have a career. It's like what is I've always been using new interesting tools. Some of them I don't ever use again. Um, and in fact, a lot of them I've stopped using, and it's but so I may not use this again. I don't know. I may use it in a different way. I may use it a tiny bit, like Nick Cave just described. But isn't that ironic that someone that feels so passionately about that may end up realizing the practicality of using it in certain situations? So yeah, and also the interest for me, it wasn't just a practical thing. It was interesting. The imagery is interesting to me. It's not, and the prompting and manipulating in a way that um uh, was sort of deviant. I think that's the thing. I wanted to sort of make AI a bit deviant. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I think that it was interesting what you said in particular about how you felt like you kind of had to push these things to kind of come out of a sort of like PC structure. And I think when you talked about that, the idea that a lot of what we see with AI right now on the internet is that you see every time I get on Instagram, I see these bizarre videos of like fat humanoid cats, like going to the gym and stuff. And so I thought that was really poignant about like we're using it in this case to like make something that's really ugly and really garish and subverting expectations. Um,
right. Yeah, and that to me is a little bit of what IMX is.
mhm.
Anyway, it's sort of kind of destroying beauty. And that what was super interesting was this sort of the the slightly sort of controversial sexualized parts of it that would come out. Um, and I admit I did prompt them to try and bring it out. But sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and sometimes I would try and input an image that looked completely harmless to me, and it wouldn't accept it. So a lot of the stuff that I would put in, it would not accept. But later, as I kind of um tweaked it and milked it a bit and started to and let it stew. What was interesting, after time, it would start to be more subversive and yeah, very very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it brings to mind also conversations that people have had about like different. You've heard of the AI romance bots, which is a whole different conversation. I've read some interesting articles about that, and people trying to like hack their AI romance bots to have
What
intimate
is that?
conversations with them.
What is a romance bot? I mean, I can
Um,
imagine, but
it's like a virtual like chat boyfriend, chat girlfriend, chat
oh,
partner, and
okay,
people
okay.
trying to hack those to have intimate conversations with them. It's interesting to
Hmm.
see that, um, with these new technologies, people try or to put up boundaries, and then the first thing that people do is try to break them.
Of course. I mean, that is what is stimulating. right now to me. If I see something, I mean, even the what is it? The cat with the the oversized cat. What did you how did you describe it?
Humanoid oversized
Mm.
cats going to the gym. That's I get those all the
And
time on
maybe I should have
Instagram.
done that. Maybe I should have just done one of those and got all the hits,
I mean, everybody loves cats. We know that.
right? Okay,
We know
next time
that.
I'll do a humanoid cat, and
Humanoid cat. Maybe it's just Goosey. I think Goosey is ready to be a star.
I think Goosey would probably blow this AI video away, right? So I would be like, I just one slow-mo video of Goosey jumping for a treat. Um, that's what I'm going to do next time.
Goosey has been recently posted on Instagram. I believe I once described Goosey as the personality hire because she is just so gorgeous. She is a long-haired black cat.
She is wonderful. She's so fluffy. Like what a ball of joy. And she's also a bit spiky because she's an older lady and she was a street cat and she's very if you touch her in the wrong way, she doesn't like it. That sounds a bit creepy, doesn't it?
No, I don't think it's creepy. I
Oh,
think
okay.
Goosey understands consent, and that's important, and I respect that about her. But moving on. So, this is a comment from Kinga on the video. So, Kinga says, maybe a key is to start treating AI as a separate form of art that requires a different way of judging and looking. We are used to it too often trying to recreate reality, and I don't like that because reality is the best version of reality. This video is not trying to pretend, it's distorted, it's fucked up, it's quirky, as IMX has always been. It has a life on its own. I see your mind and I'm glad that I can see it. It reminds me of the way your tour visuals are presented.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean it's basically a way. Tour visuals are all. There's nothing AI really there, if I remember. Yeah, but it is a hard, long slog to get those done. And it's many years of sort of layers of reprocessing things taken from the past, adding new stuff. Um, and so the stage visual, I do see it a little bit like a stage visual. I mean, that's sort of how I um approached it. Um, Sort of impact with beats and very much in your face. So it's like a and the aspect ratio is similar to the stage visual ratio. And um, I'll use this live, I think, for the truth.
Uh, that will be interesting to see with the truth. Are you thinking about bringing that into the live lineup or maybe as a surprise?
It's not much of a surprise now, is it?
I know, I know. Well, maybe a surprise at the end.
We're going to give it a go and see if we can make that work. And I'm hopeful it's going to work. It's I think it sounds sexy. The new slightly reworked mix. And the band members are digesting it right now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go into some more of just the comments on Patreon and some of, different views on it, like we've discussed. So talking about something that's, talking about it being live. So this is a comment from S. Birch. And so what they felt is you emit more creative energy just by taking up space on stage, including your creative visions from music videos, your past sketches, your costumes. I'm really excited to see it in New York City again. I'll be there giving it 100% energy. But so many of your fans are dedicated artists and environmentalists, and I hope you'll read their views on AI. So I think that's kind of what we're doing right now and having that
Hmm.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thinking about some other things related to that conversation, I think there's also just a little bit of the conversation about the environment we went over, and then thinking
That's
about.
interesting.
Mhm.
It's not something that I was fully aware of. So That's my bad there.
Yeah, I think there is concern, particularly around these new AI data centers, which is something I'm
Hmm.
not fully educated on yet, using a lot of water and also just bringing up prices of electricity for people who live nearby, which unfortunately, sometimes that's what gets us to pay attention is like, oh my God, my electric bill is going to go up. What's going on? So it is
Indeed.
something interesting to think about. So I'm going to take a look through some of the other questions. So, something else I kind of wanted to ask about. So, some of the visuals in the music video are related to the imagery from Fault Lines 1.
Hmm.
So, with this, how did those images sort of come to be from Fault Lines 1? And then what was it like to go back to them for this video?
Well, they started as sketches that I kind of laid out in Photoshop and then put through an AI and then took back and manipulated and edited a lot. So it's kind of a back and forth thing. And that why that came about again, it was a little bit of an experiment, and kind of felt right for that time, felt right with that music. Um, and I wanted to, because it's the truth, it's the track, the truth, and I wanted to bring back a couple of those images from that time. I had a lot of imagery that I've been collecting over the years, actually, inspirational imagery, photographs by other people as well, stuff that I'd done that's never been seen too. So I had like a big folder of lots of things, mood boards for videos, things like that. Um, and obviously, video is a really interesting. Well, it's a passion. It's a form that I love very much, and to be able to take some of that imagery and to bring it to life in a way that could be added to to some kind of visual was exciting to me. Um, and also a little bit has a sort of conceptual angle to it. So I'll take the cover of Fault Lines 1 and kind of fuck with it and tell it to do things and tell it to suck its own cock and do whatever I would come to mind. Some of it would be an AI would push back on it, and some of it would just go boom. Okay, there's an image that is like wow. I didn't really say that, but that's actually more interesting. But so it was a lot of that sort of back and forth and eking out something. It's a little bit like kind of twisting it and using it. I mean, I know I've described this, but um, subverting this medium. Um, Either way, it was not necessarily the best environmental choice. I take that to heart now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting just to have the discussion. So thinking about, obviously what's happening next, going on tour, but thinking about what future projects are going to look like. Do you feel like after this you're going to be drawn to do something maybe a little more radically different, or what kind of experimentation do you think is kind of next for you with
It's a
those
good
sort of
question.
visuals?
It's a good question because I think I did have a little bit of a freak out about the whole thing recently. Um, and and in a way, I wanted to sort of prove something to myself that I could be in the driver's seat with this whole thing rather than playing catch up with everything, because I think a lot of the anxieties of modern life are about feeling like things are running through our fingers constantly and we can't keep up.
Mhm.
And but this has been part of the indie world anyway since as long as I can remember. It's like, oh my God, when social media kicked in, it's like, how the fuck now I have to be a social media person. I'm just a musician. What the fuck happened? So it's another level of that where you're trying to keep up, and unfortunately, it is part of the modern world. At least I have to try it to say, mm, yeah, I love that, but you know what? I love this other thing more. Um, and maybe I'll sort of settle back into that, or stuff like this is very motivating for me. It actually motivates me to do something and to I feel animated now to kind of get on stage and be real. Um, and the value of being there in the flesh, and it's nice. It's nice to sort of be woken up sometimes. And this doing this is it definitely feeds into that for me. And I might come back and think, oh, you know what? I might just mess around with that thing again. But overall, I think if you know the project and you understand what this is all about, it's the aim is always the authentic. There is nothing manipulative intended.
I think it is. It does feel really exhausting to feel like you always have to be on top of another thing in addition to doing, your actual job, your actual creativity. So, of course, with IMX, I'm trying to keep on top of a lot of the social media stuff. And it's like every day, oh my God, there's TikTok. Oh my God, now we have to like put these little phrases or lyrics over our Instagram profile picture to keep up, but it's going to block our picture and it's going to look bad. And it can feel like you said the whole world is kind of moving past you and you have this duty to be an artist, but you're also worried about how are people going to find my art? How are people going to receive my art in this new paradigm of how we're doing things?
Yeah, it's a trap. I know we are slaves to it. And you can bow out to a certain degree and just commit uh, social, you know, s commercial suicide and not be seen. And there's that. And sometimes I think about that a lot. I really do. And like, it's funny because this the reaction to this video makes puts me in that mindset of like, oh well, fuck this. I'm not even going to do anything because um I have no chance to keep up. There's this instinctive thing with artists that, I mean, I do like it. I did enjoy it. So it's not that I wouldn't do that, but it's you just kind of want to do shit and experiment with stuff, and that is what art is. And that thing is a tool, and another tool comes along, you do that, and then um and just the fact that I think more the whole sort of social media thing is much more worrying to me than using a tool like this, because apart from the environmental impact, I'll keep the caveat there. Um, uh, because that's the stuff that I think is making us sick. Um, and that's where I often just want to bow out. So if I have some fun, which is kind of what I see this as, you
Mhm.
know what, I'm going to have some fucking fun on social media and see what, and this happens because it's like, and then you do kind of question, oh, well, maybe this is not the place where I should be having fun,
Well, it's
you know?
interesting talking about social media is a conversation that we had where it seems like social media does tend to push stuff that's controversial. And outside of the world of IMX, oftentimes we see like you'll get stuff pushed on your page that's meant to be controversial, that's meant to make you angry, because if you
Yes,
get angry at it, you engage in it more.
yes. And I'm sure that people may have been angered by this to a certain degree. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh,
Sometimes I just get really thoughtful.
mm, okay. Maybe now's not the time.
Should I just be jumping up and down?
Absolutely. Yeah, so where was I, Victoria?
Where were you? No, we were talking about how there's a lot of with social media just in general, it
Mm,
gets engagement by getting people
yes, rage bait.
to, yeah, rage bait. Rage
Hmm.
bait. Clickbait is something that you've talked about before in
Yeah,
Art Bleeds Money.
yeah. I mean, it's obvious, right? That's why Trump's in power. It's rage. It's all to induce reaction, and some reaction is better than no reaction. And if the reaction is super negative, that's and usually negative reactions, a psychologist will tell you that negativity is much more powerful than the positive reaction. So that's why we live in this world now of social media, um, rage bait. It's kind of that's what I mean. It's making us sick. It's disgusting, really. And to sort of and you see people jumping in on it as well. It's like, oh well, you know what? I've tried this fucking just to put out my stuff, and I've tried to promote it that way, but what the fuck? Nobody sees it. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking ride a humanoid cat
Be provocative.
and be provocative and punch it in the face and talk about clowns for Trump. I don't know.
No, that is interesting. That is interesting. Sue says I just post kitten photos on social media. Kittens also, again, really, really get a lot of attention.
That is
So
safe. Yeah, that's
it is.
believe me, I've been thinking about that too. It's like I think Goosey would get more attention than I would.
Oh, well, we love. I mean, Goosey is just really a star. So if people have more questions, we've got like a lot of comments in the
Hmm.
stream. So if we get some more questions, that would be fantastic. I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit, if you're okay with it, and talk
Please.
more about the actual rework of the song. And so, kind of what inspired the decision to make those changes, and if you can tell us a little more about how you rearranged the song.
I was just inspired to kind of rejuvenate it a bit and bring that give that track some attention because I feel like it's got a uh, not zeitgeist. That sounds a little too self-important, but it's got a feeling of like, oh, what happened to truth? Um, and we're kind of moving into that post-truth era. So, and we're still trying to hold on to a lot of stuff. Holding on to being human. How do we do that? Is it worth it? Like what do we? Some people just don't mind so much. It's letting it happen, and some people are really pushing back, and that could be futile. Who knows? I'm sure it is in the end. But um, bringing that to the forefront, and that it wasn't really written in that context. It was really written in the context of trying to shake the truth out of another, um, and an intimate relationship, and then later, often realizing that there's a sort of projection there where it's me talking to me too. Um, you can read every line and it can sound like yourself. That often happens with IMX. And I'm feeling that right now in my private life. I'm feeling that needs to be somehow exorcised, and the energy of that track and the meaning, what it means to me, it sort of needs to shift. So this is me sort of shifting that energy, and you know, and it just happens to be in line with the whole creepy AI thing too.
Well, I think it's interesting when you said that the title of it was going to be the post-truth rework rather than something we talked about in the past in these streams is, you have the art leads money rework, you have the unfall rework. So that was interesting as kind of part of a statement.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that just came quickly, but it's
Hmm.
obviously trying to um it's wordplay to a certain degree, of course. It's a bit contentious and all that stuff, but yeah. What is it? What is the truth for everybody? What is your truth? And
Hmm.
isn't that what we're all looking for anyway? What is our purpose and our truth?
It is, and
Mm,
especially the interesting idea that the truth is subjective and my
totally.
truth is going to be different from your truth. Um, and how perceptions shape reality, kind of getting into it a little deeper here.
Yeah, I mean, we used to be a bit more connected with rationalism and the scientific method and all of that stuff. That's broken down more so recently with the whole uh, political climate and social media, really. Yeah, so the whole kind
Yeah.
of rage baiting thing is also that's feeding into a post-truth thing, and it's wild, really, because we've relied on our facts and our markers for so long. Are we moving into a realm, into a world where everything is relative and it doesn't matter if you think 2 plus 2 is 4, because I don't, it's that kind of thing, and it doesn't matter if you don't believe me because I'm going to say that anyway, and I'm going to get a million followers saying that. You know, it's like there's niches for everything.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of sometimes you feel like people think, the truth is what I feel. It seems to be something that you see more when you're kind of asking, like, how did we get here? Just looking at the world in general. And
Yes.
so thinking about also just the rework itself, I know that you made some changes in terms of like the arrangement of the song and things like that. And so when you're
Hmm.
going into doing a rework like this, are you starting with like a certain idea of like when I finish this rework, this song is going to be more atmospheric or it's going to be creepier, or are you just kind of letting it guide you?
I did have the intention. I mean, I started with the intention of making it very stripped down and ethereal um and non-confrontational sonically,
Mhm.
and it worked for a bit, and then it made no sense because it is about confrontation in the end. Even though it does have a sort of an ethereal quality, there are still elements that need to sort of be driving and nasty and almost jarring. Um, and there's I wanted to start with Janine's voice there. Obviously, there's stuff going on there within this. There's within the band with Janine. She's dropping out of the project, and that's devastatingly sad. But regardless, I think it's very resonant to release this track at this time because it 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 also shows her power in it, and that and the power of music to sort of transcend the small stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
A couple people have mentioned in the chat. Janine did make a statement on Instagram yesterday that she is leaving IMX with the back end stuff and also performing on stage. So we won't see her on stage this tour. You can read about it on her Instagram, which is Madame Gazang, because people have been like, do you want to address that? And I think Janine has really addressed it herself and can say, how much she's done for influenced IMX, the project it's been, the project it's is right now the project it's going to be. And I do really enjoy hearing her vocals, how they've really been elevated in the rework.
Me too. And that was intentional. It's it, it's moving into an unusual time. Janine has been sort of moving into other realms too. Anyway, outside of IMX, and she's become a really awesome ADHD professional, and that's I think that's also provided a certain stability and for her that is needed in her life right now.
I'm going to share that in
Yeah.
the chat for folks who are interested in ADHD coaching. That is something that Janine is pursuing, has pursued as a professional certified coach for folks that are learning, especially folks that are learning about late in life ADHD. So we had XX ask, will there still be mental health gatherings in the future? And the answer to that is yes. We do have a couple of topics planned for after the tour. We're going to go into talking about specifically addiction and recovery, and then have a few other different ideas that folks in our world have either been affected by or have asked us to talk about. So that's going to be happening again soon.
We're also talking to Kevin on Sunday, right? Is that
Yes,
correct?
so Sunday we're going to be doing a stream with Kevin Key, who is a legend and a wonderful person from Skinny Puppy. That's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, and we'll be talking about technology and mental health with him. So that's going to be very similar to one of our head noises, but that'll be with Kevin specifically. And have Blood Orchid says, my first IMX show, I was directly in front of Janine and next to Victoria. And I'm so sorry. You have to tell me what your real name is because I don't recognize you by Blood Orchids. Yeah, so we're very excited for the Sunday chat. Um, Oh, I think we've kind of covered a lot here. I was excited that we were making this public, and to kind of have the larger conversation and to see we had a lot of people again. Hi Nisha. I'll talk to you on Instagram later. Sorry. So we've had a lot of larger
Jesus, I am still
discussion.
here.
I know. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
What am I, chopped liver?
No. You know, it's
Look,
hard to get on
everybody, you just
camera.
got, I think just go have fun with it. Just go
Yes.
watch it, have some fun with it.
Yes.
It's meant to be an experiment and it's I love it. I love what I've created there. And hopefully don't take it too seriously. The I understand the issues and hopefully we'll kind of iron those out as we go along. But for now, let's kind of refocus on touring.
Yes. I think we are all really, really, really excited. I'm really excited. I think about it every day, and it's gonna be a really big one.
It is, and I'm already setting up and I'm gonna take some pictures and little things and get kinky with you.
Yeah, and we're gonna be together, as you've said a couple times in some different interviews, in the flesh, in person.
Yes. What did you just say?
In the flesh, in person, can't be replicated yet. No, not
That's
sticking our
exactly.
hands through holograms.
Yes. Yes. I am real.
Yes.
I am good.
Yes. Yes, we love it. That's why we're all here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are going to ask folks to join us on Sunday. So our Sunday chat is patron only. So that's going to be, you can join at patreon.com/IMX. And then there is something else I wanted to mention briefly. So forgive me, Sue. Sue was like, oh, it's the Victoria show now. We
Wow.
Chris spoke with a really great radio station yesterday, Cuts FM out of Sacramento, and they're doing a wonderful piece with this great DJ named John. But the original DJ who was supposed to interview him and is a big IMX fan is named Tony, is very ill. He's in the ICU right now, and we're going to mention him again in the future, but he has a GoFundMe, and I'm just going to share it in the chat in case anyone feels moved to support him.
I think that's beautiful.
So thank you everyone for being here. And we will see many of you on Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your patience. Lots of love.
All right, we're good.
Woo!